Hello, everybody. I wanted to reach out this month to wish you a happy new year and also to chat about some trends that I'm seeing in terms of 2024 workforce. It's the year of needing to rebuild employee trust, according to Inspire Us, a recent study that was done. And as I was digging into the research, I learned that almost 16% of Canadian employees are voluntarily leaving their organizations. And that's a pretty high number. When I looked at the study in detail, the reasons why they were leaving, which was surprising for me because normally compensation isn't a main driver of employee engagement, but the number one reason was to make more money. 37% said that. About 19% said they wanted to work remotely. They wanted the ability to work remotely. And then the third reason was for career advancement. And so this just frustrates me because I know that there are things we can do or should do differently to keep those top performers in our organizations because they're our greatest asset. It's not what you sell, it's not the services you provide, it's your employees and those star performers. And so when we have rigid policies or practices that are set by the organization or the HR teams or the executive, we can't do things to keep those top employees, which is so frustrating. And having been a leader of a team in the past where I had stellar performance I couldn't properly reward it, there's nothing more frustrating. So this is my appeal to business owners, business leaders, CEOs, C-suite executives to think about changing the way you do things, like turn your policies on their head and really invest in those top people because they're going to be what makes your company successful in the end. So let's look at each of those things and just break down a little bit how your current policies might be hurting you and what you might be able to do instead. When we look at the request to want more money or compensation being a driver, I know that often there's salary bands and ranges, and we can't give you more than a 10% lift because there's a policy around that drives me nuts. So I would propose that that is fundamentally flawed, and I'm going to tell you why. When an employee leaves, particularly if they've got some tenure, so somebody who knows what they're doing and has built some knowledge and expertise up in the organization, it can cost between 50% and 200% of their salary to replace them. From the time it takes to, fill the gap, recruit, screen, train, get them up, the new person up to proficiency, that costs a lot of money. And so I'm going to say, would you rather spend the money replacing them, or would you rather spend part of that keeping them? And let's do some math here, right? So if you've got an employee who makes $100,000 a year, let's just use that number because it's easy to break down. It can cost you from $50,000 to $200,000 to replace them. So do you want to spend the 200 grand potentially, or do you want to give them maybe $10,000 a year for, however many years to keep them? Right. So let's think about money spent differently. And maybe, I'm calling for an end of those salary band restrictions around really rewarding our top performers. You need to be able to invest in them so that they don't leave. The second one, ability to work remotely. So, um, you know, one of the things that's really frustrating me is seeing all of these return to office mandates, like must be in the office 2 to 3 days a week. Or, some organizations are going back fully on site. And I understand the motivation for that. It's to have people together, to build that sense of team. We feel like if people are connected to a location, they're connected to your organization, but we know this isn't true. And so many top performers were able to successfully work remotely for 3+ years, and now we're forcing them back into the office and they're losing a little bit of that flexibility. And I'm going to tell you right now that your top performers can probably get done in half a day what two of your low performing employees can get done in a full day. So, do we really want to punish them, or do we want to allow them that flexibility to really rock it and have that balance in their life that they've come to enjoy? And it's not the same for everybody. So why are we treating everyone the same? So 18.6% of employees are leaving because they're not able to work remotely anymore. And so I would say rather than mandating a one solution fits all, um, go to your employees one by if you have decision making capabilities here, go to your employees one by one and ask them, see how they want to work. And maybe you can check and see if there's a way to compromise a little bit. So rather than mandating X amount of days in the office, find out a nice balance that's going to work for both of you. Can they have some flexibility, and maybe once a quarter have a team day, or once a month you have an on-site day that everyone agrees to come. But I'm going to tell you right now that this back to office mandate is not serving you. And yes, it might mean that you have to rethink things. Like maybe you need to consolidate and reduce your office space. But that's going to save you some money. And then that money might be able to help you with problem number one, which is compensation, right? So get creative and start to really question these policies and see if they're working for you, because the research is telling us it's not. The next thing, and the last one we'll talk about, is career advancement. Um, you know, High performers go above and beyond because A, they care about doing quality work, and B, they want to be recognized for it and they want some opportunity as a result of that. But quite often I will see leaders keeping their stars in spot because it serves them. Hey, this person's running the show for me. I don't even have to worry about that team. But who's that punishing? It's punishing your star. And so we've got to be able to give them opportunities to grow and expand their career, or they're going to do it elsewhere. Most reasons, the way that you can make the most headway in your career is unfortunately to leave a job. That's where you see the drastic title changes and the drastic salary jumps. And it's really unfortunate that organizations aren't allowing for some flexibility to, hey, let's stay competitive to keep our top employees, because they're the ones who are, making you successful. Now, I want to recognize that if you are a middle range leader, you don't have a lot of control. This is being done to you by your organization. And as much as you see what I'm telling you and you agree, there's probably not a whole lot you can do because you don't write the policies, you don't own the policies. So I just want to cheer you on and acknowledge how hard of a position it can be to, toe the line when you don't agree with those policies and procedures. What I would invite you, leaders who care, is to find out what you can do within your sphere of influence and control. What can you do? So while I may not be able to change this policy, what can I do for my employee that's going to give them a little bit of recognition so that they know that they care? Because we know that employees also leave because of their managers or their leaders. So if you're a good leader, chances are your employees are going to stick around a little bit more just so that they get to work with you. And while we don't want to take advantage of that, let's find other more creative ways to reward those employees to keep them around on your team. So I'm going to close out just offering you to assess your current talent pool. Look at everybody. Where are they performing? Who are your stars? Let's focus on those. I'll do a separate post about, really taking action on those who aren't performing. And yes, we want to give them as much help and assistance and resources as we can in coaching before we decide to, sever that employee-employer relationship. But if it's been going on for a long time, it's time to take action, because that's also upsetting your top performers when they see you tolerating less than stellar performance, and this person's being paid almost what your top performer is being paid, right? Keep that in mind. So if you want some help, book a call with me. As you can tell, I'm super passionate about this. I want to improve the workplaces of 2024, and I'm here to help you do it. So give me a shout. I would love to give you some ideas, have a consultation session with me, and let's make 2024 the year that you go even further in your organization with the help of those stars. Bye.